Hey guys, Luke Schumann here, Hazzard FabWorx. We're gonna post a video every month. We're gonna start with just a quick walk around the shop, kind of talk to you guys about what we got going on so you can check it out. Welcome to the shop. At any given day, there's 30 or 40 trucks and Jeeps around here. So I'm gonna do a quick walk around, tell you a little bit about all of them. Chevy K30, we got not a lot needed on this one. It needed some steering parts, axle U-joints, stuff like that. We freshened up the front end, wheel bearings. It'll get aligned tomorrow and it's out of here. Next up is this CJ5. Pretty cool build we did about 1.5 years ago. It came in, it blew up the rear diff. Obviously it's got an LS in it. Also had a charging system issue. So we sorted that out. Good looking swap. I also added some power brakes. We went through, we did, like I said, did the rear end, new limited slip. Everything's dialed in. This one leaves tomorrow. Today we just started this 4-inch lift on this OJ style Bronco. It's getting a 4-inch BDS we're pretty excited about. These always ride good when they're done. It'll get aligned as soon as we're done. This Chevy got a steering box today. It's getting aligned. It'll be done first thing in the morning. Guys, now we're kind of stuffed in the corner of the inventory area. What we got here is this is a Roadster Shop Legends chassis for a 70 Chevy Blazer. We're super excited about this one. Waited about 1 year for this chassis. What you're seeing is all brand new everything. So it's a direct injected 5.3, 8-speed automatic, factory 2015 Chevy transfer case, stainless Borla exhaust, new frame rails, fuel system, evap, core support, radiator. Everything is new, all the way down to the half-ton Chevy front suspension with Fox coilovers. Everything is brand new. Everything is built around this 71 K5 Blazer. So we just finished the body work. We'll go to that. All right, guys, here we are. This is a 70 Blazer chassis. It was a super nice, complete truck. Step one, we disassembled the entire thing, organized, inventoried all the parts. Then we went to body work. It went to sandblast, and it was really nice, but obviously there's imperfections. It's 50 years old. So we've got that pretty much all done. It got new cross members underneath it. We did all the quarters, all the panels. The rockers were eaten like most of them. So it's got all the different layers of rocker panels fixed. The floor is fixed. Everything is right, even all the way up to the bulkhead up here above the windshield. That got replaced. We're doing beadroll fenders and stuff like that. So after that, it'll get set on the chassis. Then starts the fun part of all the billet interior pieces and going through all the rest of the fabrication, plumbing, stuff like that. The next thing here is a 77 El Camino. Ugliest car you've ever seen, but what's cool about it is customer put a turbo 400 and a built 6-liter in it. Thing was cool, runs good, however it didn't stop, it didn't steer, it was terrible. So we just ended up putting a Detroit Speed front end in it, new steering box, new sway bar, power stop brake kit, got it dialed in. We got to bleed the steering. It'll get aligned tomorrow and get out of here. Not exactly what you're used to seeing around here, but super cool car. The customer was, it was his dad's car growing up and he's got it now. So cool story. We're stoked about it. Can't wait to get it on the road. The next thing was, we got a first gen Tacoma here. It was built probably 20 years ago, I don't know, but rode really rough. Had kind of typical Tacoma build from a while back. It had a spacer in the front, add a leaf in the back. Then it started to squat the rear, so they added a rear block. Customer just didn't like it. It rode really stiff. So what we're doing is we're going to replace the rear spring and do a mini pack. You can see that the factory leaf spring is inverted. Super popular, not popular, but common on these, as those springs just wear out, especially with the canopy. So this is going to get add a leaf, replacement rear springs, a new Bilstein in the rear. The front got a Bilstein 6112 kit, diff drop, SPC upper arm, so we can align it correctly. So it'll drive good, ride good. It'll be so much better than it was. It'll probably get aligned tomorrow and be out of here. Next up, we have this JK. It is a later JK, 12 and later. What we did on this one is a couple months ago, we did Super Duty axle conversion, which is getting more popular on it. A good way to get some good beefy axles in it and not spend a ton of money. It's, you know, still expensive with shafts and lockers and gears and stuff, but got Super Duty axles under it. We did a long arm on the front, short arm in the rear, which is cool for your breakover angle, stuff like that. Now it came in, he wanted to put 42s on it, and obviously the 40s we got to clear. It's a lot more work to make a 42 rev, so we're doing some work there. We're gonna stretch the rear a little bit, center it in the wheel well a little more than it already was. which takes a lot of body trimming, stuff like that. So we're going to work on that a little more. We've already flexed it out, replaced a few parts, and now we will continue to flex it, move the body where needed. This one's actually going to need some cutting and welding and things like that to make that all clear. The tires also rub the inside of the frame. We'll do a frame clearance on that. Once we get that all done, we just continue to cycle it and move things as needed. And this one should be done here pretty quick, but it's here. We got the main parts put on it. Now we can actually start adjusting things and moving things like normal. Moving on from the JK, we got kind of a heartstrings tugging story, this one. A lot of you guys know this Jeep. It's been in here multiple times over the years. You've seen videos and pictures of it. We just got it going. The tranny went out in it. Customer had it rebuilt. We got it put back in. In the process of getting it put back in, the customer actually passed away. Pretty sad deal. So unfortunately, the family's trying to figure out how this all works, and so it is here still. But in the meantime, let's go over what a cool Jeep it is. So it's got a 16 to 14 bolt in it. It's got a Cummins 4BT, a Turbo 400, a 205, a doubler, very custom body that he did with the half cab and the bed in the back, spare tire, on really flexy leaf springs. Just a really cool truck. It's been to Moab, it's been all over. Gets a lot of attention. It's on 41-inch tires and super cool. So really unfortunate story. It is here and it is fixed and ready to go, and I'm sure it'll get wheeled more after the family gets it. One last Jeep that's in here today. This one's been here for a couple weeks as we're just kind of fitting it through. Kind of cool story. One of our customers found this one for sale. Couldn't really pass up the deal. It would just had a ton of parts on it already. So seems as though somebody built it, who knows where, and then wheeled it maybe a couple times, but tons of parts on it. It's got 60s, it's got an Atlas, it's got an LS7 in it. I mean, big money parts. It's got 40s. It's just got a ton of parts on it. It is here for us to kind of dial a few things in. Kind of going into the Land Rover area, which is not always a thing we have here, but today we have two of them. So the first one is this old Land Rover. We cut the coil springs off of it, and we're doing a 3-inch internal bypass King coilover in the front. Some of this is customer supplied parts, and so we've done an adapter to actually get the King coilover on top of the old shock mount, or the old spring mount rather, and then customer wants everything bolt on. So we use factory holes in the frame, did a shock hoop. Now we're working on the shock hoop tie-in that will fit underneath the hood. So as soon as we get done with that, we will pull this all apart. It all bolts on and off, and we will finish welding it out. And so that's pretty cool. A few challenges with the coolant tank and stuff in this one, but we'll get that all sorted out. So that one's coming together. From there, we're gonna go to the Land Rover Disco 2. If you've seen our Instagram and Facebook, we've posted quite a bit of this one as we've been working on it here for a little bit. It got coilovers front and rear, which is a huge undertaking in this thing, as there's no space, the frame is narrow. The front, it already has an LS in it, so the engine compartment was very tight, but we've got it done. Most things are sorted out now. The suspension's done. We're working on doing this kind of hybrid exo cage that ties into the roof rack on it, so the guy's got a little more protection. This is a great customer of ours. He's actually out of Grenada, which is the southern tip of the Caribbean. So a cool story. He comes up quite a bit, and he was just here. Loves seeing it, loves wheeling it. He loves to wheel in the States also. It's got coilovers, it's got built axles, triangulated rear. It's got kind of funny steering in it. We ended up converting to a JK steering box. We're still gonna leave the tie rod behind the front axle. It'll get hydraulic assist when we do that. So most of the stuff is sorted out on it. It's also going from a 35-inch tire to a 38, which is a ton of tire for this thing. So we will be clearancing some more. Some of that is unfinished as of right now. As we cycle the suspension, it'll get clearanced. The fender is mounted to the door now, so there's not really much more we can take out of that. So we stretched the axle back. Same in the front. The front bumper got clearanced. We'll push the front axle forward a little bit. And of course, cut the fender well out, stuff like that. So this one's coming along. We did have to change the skid plate, the exhaust. It already had a stainless TIG welded exhaust on it. We did, so now we've redone that. We built a new skid plate. It's all made out of 1/4-inch aluminum, bolts into mostly factory holes. It has a 3/4-inch UHMW underneath it as a skid. Very, out of the norm build on this one. It'll come apart for powder coat here pretty quick, and should be all finished up. Alright guys, after the Land Rover, quick mention of the CJ6 that's over there. It's covered up. That is a complete Jeep we're building from nothing. It's a CJ6 tub is the only thing really Jeep we're keeping. Did frame, suspension, LS3, full build with Atlas and King coilovers, 42s, stuff like that. It's covered up, so we won't get into that. I'm sure we will on another video, but that's coming down the line. The aluminum CJ8. So this is an Aqualoo CJ8 tub. It's got one-off frame rails we did. It is all of our normal suspension like you've seen on my personal Jeep. It's our high clearance link, triangulated 4-link rear, 3-link front. It has trail gear housings with nitro gear billet 10 inches in it with ARBs. It'll be all 35 spline chromoly shafts, all the billet brake stuff and Willwood stuff that comes along with the trail gear housings. Like I said, our suspension, it's got a 2.5 Fox coilover. They're obviously not on it now. This thing just came apart for finish weld. We did our own custom cage in it. Body mounts, cross members, gets a Genrite fuel cell. The interior is where we're moving to here shortly. Seat mounts have been done. We got to do some floor work on it. We just did the wheel tubs. As you move to the front, you see a lot more of the finish welding stuff we did. Big shock hoops, coilover tie-in. But what's cool about this one is not only is it an aluminum tub and light axles, but it's also got a Ford Godzilla in it. So super stoked to put a package together with that. Ford Godzilla motor, the Ford automatic has an Atlas in it, 1350 drive lines. We're actually doing JK steering on this one too. It's a really common box we like to use around here. People say they're not strong. I disagree. I think with hydraulic assist and stuff like that, they work really well. I like it because it packages the box above the frame rail and the pitman arm faces forward. Really great for packaging when you're trying to not have a big steering box sticking out the nose of a CJ with a stretch. So this one gets 40s, aluminum fenders, stuff like that. So try to keep it light, keep the aluminum theme all the way through it. It will come together. I'm sure you'll see a lot more with this one. We got tons of cool stuff going into it. Beautiful fabrication along the whole thing. And we're excited to get into some of the aluminum and the bead roll interior work and really make the interior as cool as the suspension is. So like I said, it just came apart for finish weld of the frame. It'll come apart and go together multiple times as we go on. But as of right now, we got a robust chassis and we can start really flexing it and working with it to get the rest of it going. All right guys, we're gonna walk outside quick as we wrap this up. That's what's inside the shop waiting. We gotta pull all these rigs in tonight as we get ready to get out of here. Over here we have a Sprinter that's getting a Van Compass lift. That'll take the next couple days. That's a 2-inch lift and a bigger Falcon shock package. If you got a Sprinter, you've gotta do Falcon shocks on it. It changes the way they drive. Not only ride, it's more about the drive. It gets rid of all the sway and stuff like that. Great kit. I'm sure you'll see more on the Sprinters that we do from them. This is a 16 Duramax. It's got a BDS coilover kit on it, which is life-changing on these things. Makes it drive like a half-ton. Customer, however, it used to be big lifted truck. He's using it for work a lot more and towing. So we are actually going to lower this truck down, which usually people say you can't do because you cut the frame. We'll weld the frame cross member back in it for the customer, put it on a smaller coilover and get it back to leveling kit height with more of a factory style wheel and tire so he can use it more. As we roll around the corner, did an oil change and fuel filters on the Hazzard RVs. We're getting ready to do a trip this week.
A homeless guy in the corner?
Show the homeless guy working on it. Hemi powered JK. It's got built Dana 44s and big brakes on it, 37s and a Synergy long arm, but he wants to go to the next level. So we're doing Dynatrack 60 combination. We're doing Nitto 40s, bead locks, Bilstein bypass shocks, a bunch of other little tweaks while we're at it. So pretty excited about this one. That's gonna be in here next week and the week after to get dialed in. Thanks a lot for taking a look at what we got going on here in the shop. We're gonna do more of these videos like we said. This is kind of a typical day around here. There's freaking trucks everywhere and lots of cool stuff going on. I encourage any of you guys that ever want to stop by for a tour. We'd love to show you around anytime. In the meantime, look for more videos. Like I said, we're going to try to get one of these every month out, and some will be like this, some will be more in depth on some of our builds, stuff like that, show some of the intricacies of stuff we do around here that kind of makes these Hazzard builds their own. So can't wait to do more, and we'll see you soon.